Hello and welcome to this weekend's episode of The Winning Post, brought to you by the Serum Institute of India. I'm Mandira Lalwani. Slightly windy here at the Mumbai racecourse, but most of the action we're focusing on is in Bangalore anyway. On our show, it's been our endeavour to bring you up and close with all the racing personalities, and the focus this week is none other than Rashid Byramji. He's won possibly every accolade there is to win, but yet he's humble, he's unassuming, and he is who we're going to focus on. Mahendra Malia of our team caught up with the legend. Let's go straight there.
Action is now focused on Bangalore racecourse, and I'm here to bring you all the action and achievements on the track and off it as well. Talking about achievements, there are few that can match one with the guest that we have for this week's episode. The great legendary trainer ever produced in India, Mr. RR Byramji. The name itself is a huge one. Welcome and thanks for talking to us, Mr. RR Byramji.
Thank you.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. I mean, you're one of the veteran trainers who's seen it all. How and where did it all begin for you?
Began in the year 1955, 1st May, and as a private trainer for Mr. S.A. Poonawalla, Cyrus and Zaware's father, with 4 English horses. I still remember the names. It was Lingmala, Meher, Olney Star and Sailing Through. And I was guided by my father and Mr. Poonawalla how to train for 5-6 months. Then it was getting on my nerves. So I asked Mr. Poonawalla, will you give me 1 out of the 4 to train in on my own and no interference? He said, done. So I picked Lingmala. That was the early end of Pune season, beginning of Bombay. She ran in Bombay, she won 4 straight. Then Mr. Poonawalla said, okay, you're on your own now. That is how I started. Then I bought for Mr. Mohan Arora. Then I started getting horses of F.A. Irani, Mr. P.M. Modi. And it all started from there. One incident I want to quote and say what is the difference between the owners of the past and the owners of the present. I was doing very, very bad with Mr. F.A. Irani's horses. I had 9 of his horses, and he bought me 3 years running the highest priced horse in the sale ring. First horse he bought, he was going his gallop, he had won races, 2-3 races, and he was going for his 2000 guineas gallop. He broke down on the track. Bold Venture, there was another horse who reared up and broke his tail. So such things went on. I couldn't win a race for him. So he told, so I told my dad that I will tell him to, if he wants to leave, he can leave. So at the races one day, I told him, Faram uncle, I used to call him uncle. I said, Faram uncle, I've got no luck with you. You don't hesitate to shift if you want to. So he put his arms around me at the racecourse. He, his brother, myself and my dad, and we were walking. So he asked me one question. When you win a race, what do you get? I said 10%. jockey gets 10%, 80% the owner gets. So he said, 80% I get, so whose luck is bad? Mine or yours? First and foremost, before you telling me, 14 trainers have approached me. And you know what I told them? If I need your dress, I'll get it from the club. So at that time, I said to my mind that until they are living, I will not leave the center. This was around about in the month of, we were talking in the month of Jan, early Jan. 2 to 3 weeks, I got a first double for him. And I won him 9 races during the season. Then I didn't look back. From 64, 65 I came here after I got married. I became the champion trainer here. After that I didn't look back.
In Bombay also you were dominating the racing circuit there. How did the shift come about to Bangalore?
I had 85 horses at that time. They were bringing restrictions for 50 and all that. So then I decided to move here because and one thing very good that happened that I moved here because the number of classics I won in Madras, Calcutta, Hyderabad, I could have never done it with traveling from Bombay. This was like a central spot, you know, and I could go to any of these centers.
Time for us to slip into a quick break here on the Winning Post. When we return, we'll continue our journey with Mr. Byramji. Stay with us.
Sir Ranjit Bhatt tells me, okay, what is that thin-looking donkey horse? So I said, it is yours only.
Thank you for staying with us here on the Winning Post, powered by the Serum Institute of India. Now, as far as Mr. Rashid Byramji goes, there are many stories surrounding him. He is a legend, and there's a reason for that. I remember once our resident expert Mohit told me about a horse who just wouldn't come right. He showed him to several trainers, several vets, but they could not figure out what the problem was. It just so happened that Mr. Byramji was in Mumbai. He had a look at the horse and he just said to Mohit, why don't you try deworming him? A solution as simple as that, and it worked like magic. Let's continue with that journey.
You're talking about traveling horses. One of your arguably the best horses that you ever trained, if I may say so, was Squandra.
Squandra was the most difficult horse to train. He used to give trouble. Then afterwards, in his last run, he became stark raving, absolutely became crazy in the float. So when he was retired and had to send him to stud, I walked him for 150 miles. There was a horse trained by Mr. Fordyce, who had joints, big joints, and he won 4 races. I said to myself, if this horse can do it, the dam has got the ability, why not this horse? That is how I picked it. And actually, the owner was going to be F.A. K. Rani. I took him to show the horse. And I had got him for 60,000 or something. So Mr. Irani said, it's too cheap, buy a more expensive horse. And that is how Ranjit asked me, you like it a lot, Rashid? So I said, yes. That is how Ranjit bought it.
Okay, so again, fortune does play a role here. And your other horse, Elusive Pimpernel, even he didn't look a champion when you first saw him.
Elusive Pimpernel, when he came to me, he looked like 2 boards stuck together. And I remember distinctly telling Mr. Brar, Sonny Brar, hey, why are you putting topies on the owners? So at that time he told me, you see what a good horse this horse is. Then the horse started furnishing. And he was such a quiet horse, he didn't take me 3-4 days to break him in and put on the boy. And he used to lead every horse in the gate also. So one day I put him in the gate and jumped him out with my horses. He was not ready at all. He just jumped and he wouldn't allow anybody to come. Every single rider who rode Aslam or Jagdish or Pacey or anybody, one gallop they did and he said he's a champion.
Mr. Byramji, Bangalore has been a center that gave you most of the successes through your career. You had Adler winning the Bangalore Derby and then moving on to win the Indian Derby in Mumbai, and lots of horses that took roots in Bangalore. So what was special about Bangalore, the climate, the horses, and how did you all fine-tune all them together?
No, this fine-tuning is for an individual horse. All horses can't be trained on the same. They show you when in the early stage as a baby that they come to hand fast. Either he'll be a sprinter or then he might be a better horse, a classic horse. In all my 3,000 winners, I think 2 horses that I've trained that couldn't have improved an ounce or wouldn't have fat of 1 ounce on their body and perfect and took this thing. They won't get beat. Was a horse, my great horse Squanderer, at the time when he was meeting Certainty in Bombay. And the second one was Keminato. She had some ligament problem and I ran her after 9 months and she won me the RWITC Invitational. Those 2 horses, I think, were the best and the fittest I could make.
Any happy incidents, like funny incidents that you remember?
One day in Madras, at the time of Comanche, as I told you, if he went fast, he was a very lean horse. And when he went fast, you have to give him, you have to see that he doesn't go fast and keep him fresh. So the time of the invitation, all the owners, friends, they drank. I'm not I'm practically a teetotaler. But they drank till 4 and then they said, we'll go to sleep. I said, nothing doing. Now you all are not sleeping. You all come with me to the race course. So I dragged them all to the race course. The horse was walking. So Mr. Ranjit Bhatt tells me, okay, what is that thin-looking donkey horse? So I said, it is yours only. He looked like that, and he won the invitation by 5 lengths.
Sorry to interrupt that conversation between Mr. Byramji and Mahindra Malia, but it's time for us to slip into a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay here.
In this game, like I tell my son also, and when he got a license, I told him, first learn how to take your losses and then learn to win.
Welcome back to the Winning Post, powered by the Serum Institute of India. Continuing our conversation with Mr. Rashid Byramji, the legend of Indian horse racing. We've spoken a lot about his professional life. Time now to turn the focus towards his personal life.
Rashid, a woman behind success is what we all say. Dolly has been your wife. She had to have to cope with you as a trainer and son Daraj as a trainer as well. So what was her contribution towards your career and your success? What was the rapport you had? Was it more a husband-wife or a friend relationship? Or how did it all go?
More as a friend and very hardworking. And she used to do a lot for me in the stables, especially the accounting and all that. And then with the owners, we used to get, really both of us used to get so tired because every day we were practically, especially in Bombay, not in Bangalore. Bangalore is a much easier life. But in Bombay, with the trainers, and our time used to start in the evening and we used to be in the stables till 8:30.
Dolly's contribution has been pretty heavy with you. How about with Daraj? How would she manage his career?
He first, as a youngster, he had no interest in training or didn't go near the horses. Then gradually he said, okay, I want to join. Dolly told him one thing when he joins. See, your father's got a name. I do not want you to spoil his name. Winning, losing, everything comes in the game, comes and goes. But be careful of this thing. And anything happening, horse is lame or horse is this thing, first thing inform the owner. That was her advice to him when he started. There was no word in a dictionary as nervous. On the contrary, she used to give us the strength.
And you know, the kind of successes that you've reached, there have been times when the success was not as often as you would have wanted it to be. So how have you taken this ups and downs and how do you look back on your life today?
See, ups and downs in a person's life, it comes. In everybody's life it comes. You have to take it. In this game, like I tell my son also, and when he got a license, I told him, first learn how to take your losses and then learn to win. You can't be successful all the time. You have to take your losses.
Classics, you know, you're the one who won the most number of classics. What kind of preparation does it require? You know, to keep that level of consistency of picking up horses, getting them ready, and finally succeeding in the classics.
Like I said, first you have to buy a good horse. That everybody's an individual, everybody's eye can tell. First and foremost, I used to start a bit late. Sometimes until they mature, sometimes in November, early November I wouldn't have running, December or January. And then give them 1 or 2 races. Especially fillies, my target would be the 5th race in the classics.
Classic would be the 5th.
Yeah, 1,000 guineas would be the 5th race. I would give them a lot of time. The owners would say, many a time, many owners have told me, okay, run here, run there, run here, run here. I used to tell them, it is your horse after it runs the classic. Wherever you want me to run, I'll run. But give it a chance to run the classics. If she's good enough, if she can win, whatever the result may be. But give it a chance. And that is the thing which is most important for a trainer. Very few trainers get owners like that. That is why I'm saying I was very lucky trainer because I had very, very good owners, understanding owners. which I always tell my son, you might do well, but you will never get those honors.
What makes you so successful, or what do you attribute your success to? What is it that you saw that the others didn't? Because you are cut above the rest.
Good horses and good owners. Non-interfering owners. There is nothing great I have done. I have got good horses. I've kept them fit, which everyone does. But you have to have, like I told you, as a 2-year-old, is the time that the trainer career begins, 2-year-old. What you buy, you don't have to compete with. And for that, you need solid, good owners. Patient, non-interfering, and who can buy what you want to buy.
Finally, what would you advise? If there are now new trainers coming in, youngsters coming into the race, are you open to, advice for those who seek advice from you?
Between my son and myself, 35 young trainers have gone past us. And by the grace of God, like Bharat Singh, Deshmukh, then Dallas, they all were our boys. And they've been, Altamash, all of them. They've been doing very well from the set. And I'm happy that they're doing very well.
So if you want to sum up your career, sum up the racing, what do you think gives you the highest pleasure?
Highest pleasure is leading in a horse, the winner, and especially in a classic race. And I hope I can do it with one of my own horses, win a classic with my own horses. I'm doing my best and trying my best to win a classic race.
Well, all things must come to an end, and so must this show as for now. So that's all we have time for in this episode of The Winning Post. Remember, if you've missed anything, you can always catch it on our YouTube channel. Also like our Facebook page for regular updates, and of course, as far as tips are concerned, just follow Mohit on Twitter. Until next week, may the horse be with you. Goodbye.